Hey there, welcome to season 3, episode 5, the one where you're not alone. Now, I feel like this season we have got a bit of a theme of all the things that Lise has been experiencing in Q3. And I'm not going to lie, it's so true. And I wanted to just really talk about what it truly feels like to feel isolated when you're going through business struggles. Now, most of us who are running an online business will experience this feeling of isolation at some point because it's just normal, particularly if you are working from home and you're the only one at home, right? There's nobody else around you. And if you're traveling or if you're in a different state where nobody else is living next to you or people are not close, then the isolation becomes a very real physical thing where you just don't have access to the people that you would normally have access to. Now, this has been my lived experience probably for this entire year. We're traveling full time, and there are moments, particularly in the last few months, where I have just felt so isolated that there are days where it's really hard to get out of bed. Now, I say this because I want you to know that it's okay to feel like this, to be able to recognize that when you are in that space, that your best next step is to figure out how to not feel isolated. So, one of my biggest things that I love to do is to look for meetups wherever I am in the world. Meetup.com. It's one of my fave tools. Now, unfortunately, it's no longer free. It used to be way back when I was first using it back in 2008, 2007 is when I first discovered Meetup, and I used it because I was traveling on my own and I didn't know anybody in a large city, but I didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. And so I've taken that same approach when we're traveling and thinking through the same thing. Well, I don't want to sit here in my business struggles. Sure, I can jump into a mastermind, I can jump into an online community, of course. I'm not going to jump into social media because I don't enjoy being on social media. So, what do you do when you don't have social media and you don't really want to do things online? You have to meet people in person, and that is one of the quickest ways to beat isolation. And hey, my beautiful friend, if you are feeling isolated and you don't have the capability to go and meet people in person, I'd love to help you feel better. I'd love to help you with your business struggles. That's exactly what the feedback loop is all about. You can learn all about that at hustleandgroove.com/feedback. And it's where I'm basically going to tell you exactly what you need to do based on what is happening right now in your business. So go ahead and check that out. So if we think about this from a human design perspective, if you know what your profile numbers are, then if you have a 2 or a 4 in your profile, then you're definitely going to want to connect with people. Now, as I said, getting out and meeting people in person is the fastest way to not feel isolated. But I get that there are times where you just don't even want to do that. So if that's kind of where you're at, then you want to look for safe communities that are not on social media. So this is not a Facebook group that you want to be diving into. This is where platforms like Heartbeat, Circle, and School really do shine because they give access to private communities. You can also use Telegram. There are also options like that. But I do feel like Circle, Heartbeat, School give you these different experiences. And to a lesser extent, Substack. That's a little slightly different, slight detour, but it does have community elements. The goal of this entire process is to literally ask yourself the question, where can I go to talk about the struggles that I'm having right now? And or what can I do that's creative? So that's kind of my go-to. How can I go and do some creative stuff? So I'm doing things like pottery classes and I'm doing paintings. I'm just leaving those and gifting them to the Airbnb that I'm staying at. But being creative helps me feel less isolated. And because I'm getting to actually chat to other people. Now, coming back to the human design, if you have a 1 in your profile, you're probably not going to want to be out and about doing all the things. Instead, what you're going to want to do is learn. So find online communities where you can learn more about the business struggle that you're experiencing. Pretty much all the other numbers are going to want to experience things, are going to want to chat to people. It's really just the ones that are a little bit more don't really want to hang out with people, and that's totally fine. Fives can sometimes be a little bit like that too, but twos, threes, fours, sixes, you're 100% going to want to be around people, and that can be in person or online. But if you do truly feel isolated, then getting out and chatting to other people is the quickest way to deal with isolation. So, if you're struggling with any of that right now, your action step is simply to ask the question, what can I do right now that's either in person or online that will help me feel less isolated? Now, you're the only person who can answer that question. Trust what your body tells you, not what your head tells you, and then go and do it. Because the quickest answer to feeling isolated is to taking action, right? Anytime you get overwhelmed with that isolated feeling, taking action, doing something to move forward is your quickest way out of feeling that way. Thanks for joining me for another Simple Success session. And if you loved what we discussed today, and if you got a quick win from this, or if you just want somebody to help you with your business right now that has experience pretty much across the board when it comes to running everything in your online business, then I'd love to support you with the 30 days of feedback loop, which is Voxer Coaching Daily Feedback 30 days. You can learn more about that at hustleandgroove.com/feedback. Kind of like having your business bestie in your back pocket. And remember, your business does get to be easy and fun. You just have to decide to make it so.